In the US alone, animals raised for food generate 7 million pounds of excrement per minute. And in Duplin County, North Carolina, CAFOs, or concentrated animal feed operations, are the shits. Literally. Duplin County hogs generate 15,700 tons of waste per day, about 2 times as much as the entire population of New York City. And you know how that waste gets treated? It doesn't. It simply gets mixed with water in unlined open-air lagoons behind the farms. When the lagoons fill up, the untreated waste is sprayed as fertilizer on crops, but often it is oversprayed and flows as runoff into streams and rivers. In fact, livestock operations on land have created more than 500 nitrogen-flooded dead zones around the world in our oceans. And this isn't just an issue for our land, our air, or our water. It's an issue for our people. According to studies by UNC and Johns Hopkins, the people of North Carolina and Pennsylvania are at higher risk for MRSA infection. These infections have grown resistant to many common antibiotics because CAFOs heavily use subtherapeutic antibiotics to prevent illness instead of treating it, and these antibiotics come out in manure. In fact, a staggering 80% of antibiotics in the US are consumed by livestock, not sick humans. Meat production raises even more dangerous human health risks than bacterial infections. Take the residents of Duplin County, for instance.
Mostly everybody in this neighborhood got asthma or either cancer. My neighbor there died from cancer probably just last year. My nephew down the street, he's got cancer. He's in terminal cancer, stage 4. Not a smoker, not a drinker.
Pork consumption is skyrocketing in rapidly developing nations like China. In 2013, Smithfield Foods, America's largest pork producer, agreed to send a quarter of its product to China, while keeping production in North Carolina because of low prices of feed, larger farms, and especially low regulations. The outsourcing only means more environmental and health issues in America for the sake of Chinese taste buds. Unfair, right? Now you know how it feels for Brazilians, who will have to pay for the negative externalities from clearing their rainforests for pasture and feed cups for the beef industry. In fact, there are an estimated $414 billion in externalized costs from animal ag in the world, and animal ag is responsible for up to 91% of Amazon destruction. Here's another not-so-fun fact. Although the US briefly banned the Brazilian beef trade because of a reaction to the foot and mouth disease vaccine, we opened it back up in 2018. Although US demand for beef is declining, global demand for meat is rising, which means more rainforest destruction. Currently, 1/3 of the planet is desertified, with livestock as the leading driver, and this number will probably increase. Animal agriculture is also responsible for 20 to 33% of all freshwater consumption in the world today, and growing feed crops for livestock consumes a staggering 56% of water in the US. The world is currently growing enough food to feed 10 billion people, but worldwide, at least 50% of grain is fed to livestock. And to top it all off, animal agriculture is responsible for 18% of greenhouse gas emissions, more than the combined exhaust from all transportation. With such a huge worldwide issue, you may think that whatever you do may be insignificant. But your actions do matter. Every dollar you spend at the grocery store is a vote for what kind of world you want to see. A desertified wasteland where a few thrive and the rest starve, or an equitable and sustainable society. You can reduce your demand for animal products by trying a vegetarian or vegan pledge. Eating on the lowest trophic level produces the equivalent of 50% less carbon dioxide, uses 1/11 of the oil, and 1/13 of the water as the average meat-eating diet in the US. But where will you get your protein? Don't worry, there's actually 15 times more protein on any given area of land filled with plants rather than cows. It's basic bio, guys.